Batman rocks!
Yes, if you could only buy one coin, if you could only buy one coin in the whole cryptoverse, what would it be? What is the MetaMan's statement of the best coin, the very best coin in the entire crypto world? What is it? Well, I guarantee to tell you. And the way I'm going to tell you is by choosing 4 areas of the web. One is games, another is the metaverse, another is storage, and another is blockchain. Now, there's many other areas. There's DeFi, there's lots of other areas, but I've chosen those 4 areas, and I've chosen 1 or 2 coins in each one, a total of 6 coins. I've narrowed it down to 6, and I'm going to tell you what the 6 are. And by the way, if your portfolio doesn't contain all 6 of these, the MetaMan thinks you're missing something. I don't give advice. This is just for entertainment and education, but I'm thinking that I wouldn't have a complete portfolio unless I had all 6 of these. Stay to the bitter end and find out what the MetaMan thinks are the 6 most important coins that you should hold forever. I don't mean that in January or February of 2022, or that it's going to moon on February 16th or something. No, not that. Not for short-term traders. I mean for real wealth, for real wealth. And then I'm going to choose my top 1. This is very exciting. Very exciting. So let's start with games. Now you need to know that Hollywood makes a lot of money, and lots of people buy tickets to lots of movies, and they pay for Disney Plus, and they pay for Netflix, and they pay for Amazon Prime in order to get videos. There's a huge amount of money that's spent every single year on movies, but games far outweighs that, far outweighs Hollywood. So in games, you have to choose a game. There's a really fascinating game that just started called Monkey Ball that's all the rage, and it's monkeys playing soccer. And there's lots of other games. There's hundreds and hundreds of games. Now, if you choose the right game, you're going to be a winner. But maybe you'll choose the wrong game. Or maybe you'll choose the right game, but it'll go out of fashion. Or maybe you'll choose the right game and other people will copy it. Other developers will copy that game and make improvements on it. So maybe instead of being the only game of its kind, there'll be 10 competitors and they'll get diluted. And so it's very risky to choose one game because fads change. Some games are in for a while and then they're out. And so you need to invest in games because it's going to be gigantic. And right now it's very low on the list. The game category is very low on the list. Right now, games haven't taken their place yet because games are quite new in crypto and they're just being developed. And some games that have a lot of hype aren't out yet. Some games that are out need a lot of improvement. And I think that over the years, games will just take over and be a vast part of the entire cryptoverse. And so you need to invest in a game, but it's really risky. And so here's the solution that's so exciting. You don't invest in the game itself. You invest in what's called a launchpad. And a launchpad is something that doesn't exist in the physical universe, except maybe an agent for a hockey player or an agent for an actress. It'd be something like that. A launchpad is an organization that is good at marketing. And so what happens is developers who are good at the technical aspect of creating a game and a coin for that game, they approach a launchpad and say, look, we're creating this great game, and the launchpad vets it, makes sure it's a really good game, checks it out, makes sure there's no bugs in it, and gives some suggestions. This color scheme is working better now. These kinds of tricks are working better now. These kinds of tactics are working better now. And so the developer can get some wisdom, some marketing wisdom from the launchpad. And then the launchpad, once the game is ready, can launch it. They can put ads on all the other games that they have in their ecosystem in order to give exposure to that brand new game. And so a game can't launch on its own. It's not that big enough. And the developers typically don't have the marketing sense. And so they go to a launchpad. And there are two really good launch pads, and I own them both. Total transparency, the 6 coins I'm telling you about, I own them. Of course, I own them. I think they're the 6 most important coins in the whole cryptoverse. So let's go to the first one. It's called Seedify.fund, Seedify, and its website is Seedify.fund. And you can see it boldly states, enter the gateway of blockchain gaming. It's not a game itself, it's a gateway to the games. And when you look down, you can see that coming soon, there's Sin City, Metastrike, Space Midfits, Heroes Chained, Animalia, and then the games that are completed are World of D-Fish, the Parallel, Bit Hotel, Universe Island. Who knows what all these mean? But they're fascinating. And as the months go by, more and more games will be launched by Seedify, and therefore Seedify itself will become more and more valuable. It's like an agent for actresses. If that agent has one actress, then the agent can make a certain amount of money. But if that agent represents 10 actresses or 20 actresses, and he hones those actresses and makes them more famous, then the more actresses he has and the more famous they are and the more money they earn, the better will do the agent. And it's the same with launchpads. And so I think it's too risky. Now, by the way, you can see here Sidus. I own Sidus. So I do invest in individual games, but I really like the game launchpads. Now, the other one is called gamefi, Gamefi, and its symbol is GAFI. And you can see here its website, spacecrypto.io, and it's very exciting. Got all those comments flying at me. And here's its favorites. Look at these: Legends of Mitra, Meta Gods, Space Crypto, Eartha, Kingdom. There's lots of them, and there's more and more coming, more and more and more coming. I think that your portfolio is not complete unless you have at least one launchpad. And I've mentioned 2 of them. Now, the other that I want to talk about, the other sector, is called the Metaverse. And I love Sandbox. I just happen to love Sandbox. I think that the avatars are cute, they're pixelated, and they're nice, and they're sweet. And Sandbox uses pastel colors, and it just makes everybody happy. I personally really like the Sandbox. You can see its website here, and they've just finished their alpha season. Then they're going to go live with their games. They've just, I mean, for all of the hype, they haven't even launched their games. They've launched land, but not their games fully yet. And yet it's still high up in the rankings. And Snoop Dogg supports it, The Walking Dead, Adidas, South China Morning Post, the Smurfs. Oh my gosh, Atari, Care Bears. This is a really powerful coin, a really powerful metaverse, and a very pretty metaverse. Now, the other one in the metaverse that I want to tell you about is Rndr. And Rndr doesn't do anything sexy at all. Rndr is just in the background. Rndr, as its name implies, just renders other videos. If you think of Disney or any organization that makes movies, especially animated movies, when the movie's complete, they have the biggest computers in the world just processing. And that processing is called rendering. And you know it when you make a video on Zoom, let's say, when you finish a Zoom meeting, then you might have to wait 2 to 5 to 10 minutes for the Zoom video to be ready. Well, that processing is called rendering. And for a half-hour video, it could take maybe 5 or 10 minutes to render. Well, imagine a 90-minute movie with very high definition. So everything, every single coin needs rendering. All the games need rendering. All of the universes in the metaverse need rendering. They all do. All the NFTs need rendering. All of the backgrounds, all the avatars, all the weapons, everything needs rendering. And the biggest rendering token around is Rndr. And so the 2 coins that I choose in the metaverse are Sand and Rndr. And now I want to talk about storage. Storage sounds boring. Why storage? Well, if you think of the California gold rush, the people that made the fortune weren't the people who found gold. Strangely, they weren't. They were the people that sold the picks and the shovels and the pans and the maps. They were the people that did the weighing of the gold when it came back in. It was the people that provided the services. And arweave provides an amazing service called data storage permanently. Arweave enables you to store documents and applications forever. Now, wait till you see this. Arweave makes information permanence sustainable. Arweave is a new type of storage that backs data with sustainable and perpetual endowments, allowing users and developers to store data forever for the first time ever. As a collectively owned hard drive that never forgets, Arweave allows us to remember and preserve valuable information, apps, and history indefinitely. By preserving history, it prevents others from rewriting it. And this is particularly what I want you to see. On top of the Arweave network lives the permaweb, a community-owned web that anyone can contribute to or get paid to maintain. Now, this is critical. A permaweb looks just like the normal web, but all of its contents, from images to full web apps, is permanent, retrieved quickly, and decentralized forever. Just, here it is, listen carefully, just as the first web connected people over vast distances, the permaweb connects people over extremely long periods of time. Wow, wow, wow. And now we'll go on to the last category, and that is blockchain. And the one that I'm choosing is not Ethereum, as you might expect, it's Solana. I think that Solana is going to flip in Ethereum. Ethereum has lots of scalability issues. It is slow, it has very high gas fees, and I know that layer 2 solves those problems, but who knows how long it's going to take for layer 2 to fully implement, and Solana is already there. And so I really, really like Solana. But now let's look at where they are on the graph, because I've told you the fundamentals of it, but we need to know the technicals of it as well. And as soon as I do that, I'll tell you my prediction for the top 1. You already know my top 6, and I own all 6 of them. I walk my talk. I'm the MetaMan. MetaMan rocks. The MetaMan rocks.
The MetaMan rocks.
So I own all 6, obviously, because I think they're the most important ones. And I'm now going to talk to you about the technical analysis, and then I'll tell you the best one. So we'll go in the same order. You can see that S Fund is 322 in the market cap ranking, 322, and it has fallen a lot recently. And so this seems to be a good technical point of entry. And the other coin in the launchpad arena is gamefi, and it's so low that it's not even ranked. And so these two are just unbelievably critical. You can't get away without owning them. And they're so low and they're going to be so gigantic. These are critical, critical, critical. You can't own coins without owning at least one of these launchpads. Now, the next one I want to talk to you is Sandbox. And by the way, you can go right here and see an entire playlist of wonderful videos that I've made about my beloved Sandbox coin. Now you can see that this one has gone up quite a bit and it hasn't come down much. So this might not be a very good entry. You can also see it's 40th in the rank. And so it does have room to rise. And I think it'll rise above the #1 coin in the metaverse, which is Axie Infinity, AXS, because I think it's a more adorable metaverse. And so it can go up a lot, and I think it can go up higher than Axie Infinity, and I think it can get into the top 10. For gosh sakes, there's got to be a metaverse coin in the top 10. So if it goes from number 40 to number 10, that is a huge leap. So this is an exciting one from the technical point of view. The next one in the metaverse is the Rndr token, and you can see it's 149th. And so if you're going to get a coin that's going to do really, really well, you might want to get it before it does well. And Rndr, which is needed by every single other metaverse coin and every single game coin, is only 149th. It's just an unbelievable deal. If you buy it now or already own it now, and then you own it also a year or two from now, people are going to say, how did you have the wisdom to buy such an important coin when it was only 149th? Wow, wow, wow. Now it has risen quite a bit, but it's fallen about half as much as it has risen. So it's not a great entry point right now, but it's a good entry point. And by the way, you can go right here and play an amazing video that I created recently about the price prediction for Rndr. Next in our technical analysis under the storage is arweave, and you can see it went up quite a bit in September, and it has just wiggled around. It's consolidating. When I look at the graph for arweave, here's what I see. I see that its market cap rank is number 58, so it's in the top 100, but it still has lots of room to rise. And in fact, it did rise a lot in August. And since it rose in August, it's gone to the right in a fairly tight channel, goes up and down, up and down, up and down in that channel. And it's in the middle of the channel right now. It would be a little better to buy at the bottom of the channel, but if you're going to hold it for years, it hardly matters. And then finally, Solana, it shot up around exactly the same time, and it is also consolidating, but it is at the bottom of its tunnel. You see, the bottom of the tunnel is $150. The top of the tunnel is $250, and it's at $155 right now. So it looks like it's at a perfect entry point right now, and I think it could flip in Ethereum. I think it's a really good coin. I've told you the 6 coins, I will never sell them. I'll never sell them. 3 or 4 years from now, maybe I'll consider it when they've matured. But right now, I'm just holding. I don't care if it goes up or down. I don't care if Bitcoin pulls them down or pulls them up. I'm a long-term holder. And here it is, my number 1 coin. If you're only going to hold 1 coin, which is not the best, it's not the best choice to choose 1 coin, because then you're at the risk that that coin doesn't do well. But the concept is, if I could only choose 1 coin, then it would have to be a coin that's not in the top 100. It would have to be a coin that is already doing a really, really good job, but for some reason its price hasn't risen. It has to be a coin whose use case is already proven and is already being used, but for some reason the coin hasn't skyrocketed yet. And it's Rndr. Rndr is the number 1 coin. I think it's going to be better than the games, even better than my beloved Sandbox. I think all 6 are terrific, but for my money, Rndr. Do I own Rndr? I told you I did, but I own a lot of, actually I own a lot of all 6 of these, but Rndr is my choice. You are now a heck of a lot smarter than you were just 10 minutes ago. Please click on Meta in order to subscribe to my channel. And please click on this video, which is my most recent video, my previous one. And please click on that video, which Google and YouTube think is the most appropriate if you enjoyed this video.